Welcome to this week's Sister Show. I'm Itasha with Sean Healy, and today we are super excited because we have our first guest, Isabella Johnson. I didn't know how to introduce you then, but we'll get into that after because it's all about learning. I think this episode is called Stand Up, Look Sharp.
Stand up, look sharp. We love
Stand
that.
up, look sharp, because we are raising awareness today, and we're discussing mental health, LGBT. We're discussing so many things today, which comes under the umbrella of mental health. So we are super excited to have you here. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hiya, I'm Isabella Johnson. I am a mental health advocate and a professional dancer up in London, and I grew up in Plymouth.
Yeah, so welcome back.
Thank you for coming as well.
Yeah, it was
having
so,
me.
honestly, because it was so last minute, so I was so grateful to have you. So Sean and I decided that every time we have a guest, we're going to do some quick fire questions, just so everyone gets to know you. So everyone will always have the same questions.
Okay.
So here we go. So, pineapple or grapes?
Pineapple.
BMW or Mercedes?
Or Mercedes.
Facebook or Instagram?
Instagram.
Tinder or Plenty of Fish?
Tinder.
Nando's or Turtle Bay?
Nando's.
Biggie or Tupac?
Two-pack.
Oh, Tupac, okay. Netflix or Disney?
Netflix.
America or Europe?
Ooh.
Europe right now, America.
yeah. Okay, Christmas or New Year?
Christmas.
Beyonce or Rihanna?
Rihanna every day.
Oh, yeah.
Every day.
Winter sun or summer sun?
Summer sun.
Plymouth or London?
London.
Sorry.
She hates that.
That's awesome. Okay, so brilliant. So so that's what we're going to do every time we get a guest. Quick fire questions. So, people, how was your weekend?
I was good. How was yours?
Yeah, mine was good. Quiet.
I watched the film that you said to watch, Harriet.
Yeah.
Which I highly recommend to everybody.
Yeah.
So if you haven't watched it, we've said that to you as
Yeah,
well.
I need to watch.
Yeah.
So that's something for
What did you like about it?
that she was a G, like you said. She was strong, wasn't she?
Yeah.
She was some kind of... Even Gareth loved it as well.
Yeah.
So, like, it was a really good one.
Yeah.
But it's one of those one-time things, you know.
Yeah,
I'm not going to
don't
watch it
keep watching
again,
it over and over.
because it's one of those ones that makes you reflect as well. You're a bit angry about what's gone on, you know, like how people were treated. But at the same time, it's not as deep as some of the films where you see the details.
Like 12 Years a Slave.
Okay.
Exactly. I don't like seeing all that. That's a bit too much for me.
Yeah.
But you know, it was good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
How about you guys?
What have you been up to this weekend?
What have I been
What's brought you to Plymouth?
It was my family's birthday, so got to see her through the window. Love that.
Aw.
No, it was really nice to see. Regardless, but yeah, no,
Yeah.
so that's
Aw.
a flying visit.
That's lovely. That's nice.
It's nice to have you here. And
Yeah, honestly, I was
So nice to
honestly was
see you.
so grateful. Also, just want to say thank you to all our new followers on Instagram.
Oh yeah, definitely.
We've got quite a lot of new followers and a lot of support out there, so it's really good because we want to
Yeah.
use our platform.
And feedback. We're getting nice feedback.
Yeah, so yeah,
Loving
so
it.
if there's any like charity events or anything that you want us to support and give a shout out to, please get in touch either via our Instagram or you can obviously direct message any one of us. Any local businesses, national businesses, obviously it's available on YouTube and on the app, so we are national as well as the fact that we're based in Plymouth. Black Women Rising charity with Fit Blast was a blast over the weekend, and they raised over £250. So if you want to still
Sick. And the
donate,
t-shirts.
the
The
t-shirts
t-shirts
are
are
amazing, aren't they? So if you still want to donate, we'll put a link up on our Instagram page later. So obviously you said you've been watching Harriet. My highlight of last week was Loose Women. Did any of you guys see it?
No, but I know you obviously sent it to me.
Oh my gosh, it's
You loved
amazing.
it, didn't you?
So, in the whole 21 years of Loose Women, it was the first ever all-black panel, and like literally. So I didn't realise this was happening. They obviously didn't make a big deal about it. So I just switched it over, and then me and my mum was like, we looked at each other, Like, it's all black. Like, it's all like, which shouldn't even be a thing in 2020. The fact that the program's been running for 21
but the comments
years.
on Twitter were a thing.
Yeah. One of them saying, "Oh, have I woken up in Africa? Like, what is this?"
I can't with the UK.
Yeah. Another person actually put, "I can't even relate to these women. Why are they on there? I don't know about you, girlfriend. I can relate." Me and my mum can relate. But anyway, it was refreshing to see. And you know what? It was full of energy. It was positive. It was good vibes. And actually, it was quite emotional because representation is so important, and when you see images like yourselves, it just gives you a buzz.
Of course,
and it just made me think of us, like we're here, like making a presence and setting an example, you know. Cool. So big up to Judy Love, Charlene White, Brenda Edwards, and Kelly Bryan. But it's available on the iPlayer. So if you not the iPlayer, wrong ITV Hub.
ITV Hub.
Done then. Yeah. So so it's been good. So the news: end SARS. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So what are your thoughts on that?
I'll let you take the floor on that one, Isabella.
It's devastating. I can't even believe that it's 2020 and this is deemed as obviously it's clearly not acceptable, but the fact that it's being enabled, like it's still being pushed on social media, that is going around, and I don't really see anything particularly being done about it. It's tragic that I saw a guy the other day who'd been, what did he have done? He created some kind of app to help. I can't even remember what app. He literally created a massive app that we pretty much all use, and he was shot in the neck by an officer last year in his girlfriend's arm. Last week in his girlfriend's arms. And I read her tweets from the next day, I can't believe this actually happened, and it doesn't feel real. And you saw it, it's so and the videos are so graphic of everything that's going on. And if that's only what we're seeing, imagine actually what's going on.
Yeah.
Imagine being so scared. That's what I think. Imagine how scared you would have been over there.
Yeah. What gets me is it's almost like from the British media, it's a media blackout. So if it wasn't for social media,
no one would
know what's going on.
Absolutely not.
And to me, it's it's a humanitarian issue, actually.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Why is our media so quiet about it? What are they hiding? What don't they want to get involved? What doesn't Nigeria have enough oil? What was the problem?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then if we want to take it further back, it is because of colonization and empire. Why they're in that situation in the first place?
Yeah.
It is what has been left over from having control. These dictators, because let's face it, they are dictators, have learnt from the best, haven't they? To control.
Yeah.
There's no, do you know what I mean? The whole structure of Nigeria has been built up on what colonization has done. And you see this in a lot of the African countries, which it's so devastating that this is going on. And all I can say to our listeners is click on the hashtags, educate yourself, find out what's going on, share the post so it doesn't die down, so people keep talking about it, and hopefully something can be done. Because if people don't know, then people don't do anything about it.
Absolutely.
It's crazy. And a little bit closer to home, Poland. Have you heard of what's been going on in Poland?
No.
Right, so there's been mass protests. Poland has been acting kind of bad lately, actually. The new government that have come into power, they've taken it backwards. And I literally can't cope. They're totally against LGBT. They've brought in a new law about women having abortions.
Yeah, I saw the abort. Yeah.
So there've been protests again. There's not been much things on our media, and that is so close. That's even closer than Nigeria. I'm not saying one impression's worse than the other. I'm not saying that.
I feel like British media do that in general, though. We didn't hear anything about Sudan either when the issues in Sudan were raised. Didn't hear anything about SARS. Didn't hear anything about them dropping people in the ocean and leaving them there. Nothing is covered on British news
so
or
bad,
media.
Yeah, it's controlling. It's so controlling. And they obviously, I did media, so they call the gatekeepers. The gatekeepers at the top decide what's newsworthy. This is newsworthy. This is thousands of women who
what's
are getting
newsworthy
their
is
rights
something ridiculous.
taken.
It's something ridiculous.
Well,
you know, Katie Price has broke both her legs.
Yeah, who
Do you know what I
cares?
mean? Like, and then you've got literally, you know,
this going on. So let me give you a breakdown. So tens of thousands of people took to the streets to protest against the tightening of abortion laws. For a long time now, Poland's abortion laws have been the most restrictive in Europe. Until now, abortion was illegal in 3 cases: when the pregnancy was a result of rape or health, or the mother endangered because of severe fetal defects. Yesterday, last cause was crossed out, effectively making abortion borderline illegal. The ruling party has done this in a cowardly way. Instead of taking the usual legal route by having a vote in Parliament, which means voting, the Constitutional Court, compromising of party cronies, has been used. So basically they've just passed this through without having a vote with like the other parties. This means that the woman and all other pregnant people will be forced to give birth to deformed fetuses. If they've been raped, forced to carry on. So imagine going on 9 months knowing that your fetus is not going to be, and there's nothing you can do about it, basically. Like, I am amazed and astonished that this is going on in 2020.
It's disgusting.
It's horrible, isn't it? It's like, so there's so there's protests going on. They've been going on all weekend, and then this party is also doing a petition calling for a ban for gay pride. So the draft has been proposed by the Life and Family Foundation. The woman behind this is Kaja Godek, the face of the ultra-conservative organisations. And she was also supporting the ban on abortion.
I don't understand. What does she not want? No.
She wants gay pride stopped.
What in Poland?
And what does this do for her? What does, say, obviously I'm speaking as a person from the LGBT community, what does my sexuality have to do with your life?
Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Who do I lay down? Why does who I lay down with bother you?
Absolutely.
Like, why is it any concern? And whenever I see pride, I see rainbows. I see
beautiful colours.
Booty shorts. I see glitter.
Pride for me means proud.
That's how I feel. Happy.
Yeah.
Like the word gay in itself means happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like,
that's
I don't understand. Like, I don't understand.
Like I've been to a few gay prides. One of the Manchester ones. Wow, like
I need to go.
And, yeah, amazing. Honestly, my best friend is from Manchester, and it's absolutely amazing. And let me tell you this is one thing that literally does me, is that I've been to Carnival, I've been to all these other festivals, and you see fights and drama. I've never seen anything
Never
bad at gay pride. Never.
And
all
normally,
I've seen is love and happiness, like you say.
Even the homophobes, normally in London, in Pride, you even see them joining in. Like, you have no choice. Everyone's so happy. It's contagious.
That's it.
You have to be happy with us. Like, we won't actually allow you to be sad.
That's what I'm saying.
So when people are so against it,
it makes no sense.
I'm so confused.
Makes no sense.
So I'm just like, I don't care who you lie down with. What's
it
doesn't bother.
to do with her?
Yeah. What?
So
I need to read up on her.
Yeah, you've got to read. I
need to find out about her. She needs help.
So she's demanding changes to the law to stop public demonstrations, so people stop demonstrating about it as well. So not only
so can't show affection in public.
Basically. No demonstrations. So not only does she want to stop abortions and stop gay pride, she doesn't want you to demonstrate about the fact that she's stopping it. So these are all the things that they're passing.
Does she want like a martial law?
Oh, she doesn't. Oh. So marriage and civil partnerships between these are the things that she wants banned. Marriage and civil partnerships between same-sex couples, adoption of children by same-sex couples, existence of gender orientations and other than heterosexuals.
What was that one?
So she wants to stop
only straight people.
Basically she just wants straight people. The idea of gender as a social construct rather than a biological construct, and educating people under the age of 18 years old about sex. That needs to be stopped.
It needs to stop.
Stop educating people about sex.
That's what she wants. These have been taken from the Stonewall Instagram page, just so if anybody wants to check what I'm saying. So this started in October, beginning of October, and now she's going around to the Polish churches. So she's getting it from like all those figureheads and stuff, which is quite weird because the Pope last week came out and he actually said, quote me if I'm wrong, go on his page and see that people from the LGBT community or should have the right to have a family. So he did say that. So that's a contradiction on what she's going against, but this is what she's fighting for. So there's drama going on in Poland, guys. So check on your Polish friends as well as your Nigerian friends because it's not good.
Do you know what though? The out of all those that annoy me the most is the children one.
Yeah.
How many kids are in need? How many kids like are in or are being neglected or abused, and just because that baffles my brain. How you feel like you can pick and choose people, and they have to be in like a, you know, a man and a woman kind of. Those days are gone.
Oh no,
those days are so.
What
gone.
do you think about it, Isabella?
Well, I mean, I'm a very clearly open-minded person,
but
to me, like, life in general is on a spectrum. Like, gender's on a spectrum, health is on a spectrum, mental health on a spectrum, autism's on a spectrum. Things in I think I said gender and sexual orientation, everything's on a spectrum. So like, things can always change and evolve and grow, and you can like. I just think it's very hard to like hone in on something that you just can't say someone's one way, and like humans evolve constantly. Yeah. So like,
and then we have to.
Yeah.
Like,
so saying
society doesn't progress unless you do.
It's just really confusing to me. Like I'm trying to find the words to explain it properly because like everything is on a spectrum. So for people just to look at it as one gender or things should just be one way, it's like if people only having one opinion, or like the world would be a very boring, very bland place if everyone thought and felt and looked and was exactly the
like
same.
Hitler wanted. Yeah. So this is almost this party is going back to what Hitler effectively wanted: blonde hair and blue eyes.
Yeah.
Can you imagine what the world would have been like if it was blonde hair, blue eyes?
But you know from life in general, you would have blonde hair, blue eyes, but there's going to be that brown haired child that's going to be born somewhere down the line
with green eyes, or straight hair, or curly hair, or
the
throwback.
Throwbacks. It's going to happen.
That's my family. That is my family. Like,
I'm a black woman with a daughter with blue eyes. There you go. There's a perfect example. Yeah. You know, like it's insanity. Yeah. It's insanity.
My great granddad was a slave owner. So we've got white people in my my mum is your colour. Like my mum's really, really fair skinned, and her nose is not as prominent as mine. Her nose is more straight, but she has the black women lips. So she's got the contrast of the genes. Do you know what I mean? Like, so the fact that they want to take it back, I just can't believe we're having these discussions.
Do you remember in like 2010? I remember seeing a meme of like this olive-skinned mixed race looking child with like ombre golden curly hair and green eyes, and it was said like in the future this is what kids are going to look like, this is what generations are going to look like, and everyone was like no, because it was so white. Like I remember growing up here, and the majority, like it was a 98.2% white population when I grew up in Plymouth. So seeing that as a meme, I was literally laughable. I was like, no way. A couple years later, I'm now 25, and you have a little girl grew up here, like mixed race, blue eyes, like.
So I'm just obviously for our listeners. So your parents, so you're obviously mixed race.
Yeah, I'm of mixed.
Okay, ethnicity. So what was that like? Your experience of growing up in Plymouth?
To be honest, I found it pretty horrific. To be honest, it was more so microaggressions down here that I find, and I still get that. And I find a lot of mixed race and black people get a lot of microaggressions down here. Because, and I don't
touch your hair.
I had someone touch my hair in the co-op. I'm not even joking.
It's so rude, isn't it?
This woman comes and says, "Oh my god, I love your hair. Why are you touching my hair?" Like I'm in the co-op, and there's actually a pandemic going on as well, and you feel that obliged and obligated to touch. I don't understand. Like I don't feel the need to do that to you, and just very like the undermining tones. Oh, so where are you from? Here. I actually grew up here. No, where are you from? I grew up here.
I had that one all the time too.
I grew up here. Like,
All
I
the
born
time.
and raised in Plymouth. Like, born and raised. I moved out of here when I was 17. So here is where I'm from.
Yeah.
And then they just like look at you as if to say, well, that's not actually where you're from. Well, because I have colour in my skin. I
Yeah.
can't be born and raised in Plymouth.
Sorry, can I ask, is your mum white?
Yeah, so my dad is Caribbean. He's Jamaican.
Right.
He's actually Jamaican. I found it recently, part Italian and
wow.
English. And then my mum's English and Welsh.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Jamaica. They're saying is out of many one people. So Jamaica, everybody there in Jamaica.
Yeah.
My heritage is Jamaican as well.
Yeah.
So how did your parents find it? Like having like. I'm asking because obviously I want our listeners to know, but also I have a mixed race daughter myself.
Yeah.
So like, how did your parents find it? Did they suffer? Occur? Like, was there lots of racism and?
I think I remember it, like my first encounter, I was 5. So I remember I was literally in the park up the road with my sister, and I think my sister was like 13 at the time. And there was like these 16, 17, 18 maybe year olds, and they literally smashed their beer bottles in the park underneath the monkey bars and pushed me in it. And then we had to be taken home, and they told us to go to the slave trade. So I learnt about that when I was 5.
5?
Yeah, Mum had to get the encyclopedia out and show me the boats, and because I was like, what's slave trade? Like, you're 5.
yeah.
I don't know what you're on about, or why you just pushed me into broken glass. Like, it's very confusing.
That's
like,
awful,
I'm just literally a child.
Yeah.
So that was weird, and then a lot of just like racial stuff. I remember even being in school, there was a boy who had, I think it was something wrong with his liver or stomach, so it made the colour of his skin yellow.
Yeah.
And people would sing like the Simpsons theme tune around him, but I got the blame for being racist. That apparently, I remember being called to the office and being like, you were singing the Simpsons theme tune about this guy's skin colour. I was like, are you serious?
Yeah.
Out
Makes
of
no
all
sense.
the vocabulary and words that get thrown at
That's
me
not
here.
me, yeah.
I've had chairs thrown at me for being brown, and that was in year 4.
That's crazy.
So like, it was a very mixed experience. I think my sisters had more verbal, I believe, than myself.
Yeah. That's
But
mad.
yeah,
It's hard as well.
That's really
it's
mad.
hard. I do feel like, I mean, has it got better? You just don't know, do you? Maybe.
I think it's ignorance down here is the issue.
is, yeah.
I don't, because to be honest, I really don't think it's intentional, what's said or like what's done. I just genuinely think it's ignorance, and I don't mean that rude. It probably comes across quite rude, but as someone who's experienced it, it comes across as very ignorant.
Yeah.
I put a post up, and I specifically spoke on my Facebook about BLM. I didn't speak on Instagram really about it because I knew a lot of my following on Instagram were black, and you're going to agree with me. I'm not trying to have people agree with me. I'm trying to actually change people's opinion. So I only posted on Facebook regarding like my experiences here, and I had so many comments like, "But you were so popular in school. Because you deemed me as popular means I didn't experience any kind of racism. My life didn't just exist in school. Like, I was a dancer. I've danced since I was 3.
Yeah.
I had a relationship
dancing,
outside of that.
But I know dance because my daughter's a dancer, a ballet dancer as well.
Ballet.
So
I was in the ballet world
it's
from
hard.
3.
It's so white, isn't it? It's
very
just
white. And I knew how black I was in the ballet world. Like, even in 2020, we have one black principal ballet dancer, Misty.
Yeah.
That happened 2 years ago.
Yeah.
2 years ago. They don't even set. I think it's only just starting this year having black ballet shoes. We had to paint last year.
It was last
year they started doing
it was this year.
This year. I think it was this year.
It was this year because my daughter's got them because obviously I was up there like I want, and you know I
paint our shoes.
I put a post up, and you know the amount of people were like, "Oh my god, I cannot believe this! I literally." They thought that ballet colour was pink because it's girly and stuff like that. No. So that's why when people are asking, "Why do you need brown plasters?" This is why, because I just don't understand.
Mind blowing.
Oh, it's mind blowing. And honestly, when my daughter puts her ballet shoes on that, and I get a little chill, not chill, but it's amazing, like to see. And we couldn't stop looking at them.
No,
we literally could not stop looking at them.
It was so admirable, and it actually, I remember when I think I was maybe like 10 or 11, and I actually spoke to my mum about it earlier this year, and I actually broke into tears. So it obviously was very moving. Yeah. But I saw my first black ballet company, Harlem.
Right.
When they came down here, I think it was, when I was like 10, like I was really young. It was the first time I'd ever seen a black
All black
girl,
is mad,
black
isn't it?
dancers on stage and in point shoes.
Yeah, isn't it
And
amazing?
I couldn't believe it.
I taught my daughter to see Ballet Black. Have you heard of that?
Yeah.
They are amazing. Do you know what? She won't be listening. I'm going to try and get a workshop for her birthday, for her 15th birthday
Yes.
next
Oh,
year. There's only so many parties they can have,
amazing
but I know
age.
that will touch
Oh,
her.
absolutely.
And you know, like you said, we watched it and she was just like, "Oh, Mum, they all like literally all look like me." I was like,
Yeah.
"Yes, they do all look like you."
Yeah. And it's incredible
Such
actually
a-
thinking back, seeing about like black representation in the media, like from growing up. Because even you mentioning about Loose Women, I didn't actually know about the all black
gotta
episode.
watch it, honestly.
So I
It was
definitely
so
will watch
good.
it. But when I was younger, I used to look up to, do you know, Danny Harmer as Tracy Beaker?
Yeah.
Oh, she was the only girl on
Yeah.
TV with curly hair.
Yeah,
I didn't
of
see
course.
any other
Yeah.
character
Yeah, I
with
get
curly
it.
hair
Yeah.
on the TV.
Yeah.
So I wanted to be Tracy Beaker. Bug off. Da, 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 da,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
I wanted
yeah.
to be her because it was the
Yeah.
only and she was not even black.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like
representation
crazy.
is so important. And I just remember when I used to teach, and I worked at a school, and the black boys were so different towards me.
Towards you?
In a good way.
Yeah.
They felt a sense of pride that they saw a black teacher.
Yeah,
You don't
yeah,
see
yeah.
many black teachers in
No,
Plymouth,
no.
right? And it's still around now that Miss Honnigan, Miss
Yeah.
Honnigan. You
I don't
see
think I
them,
saw it.
all right, Miss
Have
Honnigan.
you experienced a lot of racism?
Like ignorance, like you know, like
Touching your hair.
and I'll say out loud, "Oh gosh, it's it's a really bad day. It's raining today." Oh yeah, I suppose you're not used to it where you're from. Well, actually, it rains a lot in Birmingham, so like, what do you mean?
Do you know what?
Do you know what I
right?
mean? So it's
Yeah.
that kind
I
of
do
it's
honestly-
silly ignorance.
I do
it's
honestly
really, really
think,
silly.
in the nicest possible way, I think it's Plymouth, like, because it was predominantly white.
Of course it was. Yeah.
I think that's what it was.
Yeah.
Even when I worked
Yeah.
in a bar, I just not long had Jermaine. Maybe Jermaine was 2 or 3, so you're talking now like 16 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And this man was drinking at the bar, and the more and more drunk he got, he said to me to get something, and his actual words were something like, "You need to jump back on your boat where you're from." And I was like, well, for me, I'll be going to like just across the sea to like Plimpton if you want to like kind of put it into terms.
That's
That's
just
kind
so
of where I'm
ignorant,
going.
isn't
Do you know what I
it?
mean? And he was like, "You know what I mean?" Really
No.
aggressive. "You know what I mean?" Blah blah. Really, really, really. But he was from Liverpool, so I said to him, "You're more not from here than me, and you don't see me talking to you like it. So like kind of jog on."
Yeah,
I mean,
basically.
but I've had that loads, and I got knocked about as a youngster.
What, at school?
Yeah. And do you know what it was? Who it was from? Boys. Boys used to hit me.
Really?
I remember once 3 of them in particular, who I won't name, but like lured me into the woods with them on our bikes, playing around. And when we got down there, just all started whacking me.
That's mental.
Yeah, my dad went to each of their houses.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But
That's
you
just-
know, and it was just. I hope now, looking back, that they could look at that and think,
Wow. But do you know, even dating, like I found dating like really difficult down here. Because I'd date anybody. I don't look
Yeah.
for colour. If you've got the same values and whatever. Obviously down here is predominantly white. So
Yeah.
on like, you know, if you're on Tinder or Playing Fish, whatever, you're gonna see many white guys. And from my experience, I've found that the black guys tend to go with white women because
Yeah.
maybe that's because what they're used to seeing. So that's what they go for. Then I don't know, but that's from my experience anyway. But when I've dated guys from Plymouth and they haven't travelled or they haven't moved about and they're so ignorant. They're so ignorant. Like they're so
I couldn't. No, I know what you mean.
Do you know what I mean? And I'm
So
just like
uncultured.
so
Sorry.
uncultured, like not gone past Exeter. Actually,
Yeah.
not gone past Ivy Bridge. Do you know
Yeah,
what I mean? I'm just
like that. That's literally what I mean by
Plimpton. Let's
cultured.
think
Like
about Plimpton.
literally.
Like, but you see, my
Yeah.
guy now,
the boy.
the boy, he's
That's what she calls him.
I love that.
He is pulled up, right, and
Dad.
he knows.
And he gives you attitude, and
He
I love
knows.
that.
He knows.
I
he
admit,
knows.
I'm going to be one
Do
of
you know
those,
what?
right?
Do you know who's the?
I'm going to be the fan club.
Honestly, he is pulled up. When Rihanna says pulled up, he is pulled up. He's just finished reading Candy's Braithwaite. I'm not your baby.
What are you doing
I'm
to
not
him?
your
Shush.
baby mother.
Shush.
Just finished reading. I'm not
Stop
your baby
embarrassing
mother.
the man.
No, I don't care because he pulls up because he's not ignorant. He's travelled. He's lived in London. He's lived in Bristol.
It really makes a difference.
It makes a difference.
Such a difference.
And that's what Yeah.
And do you know what I think?
He just
Because
knows.
obviously I grew up here.
Yeah.
And I moved to London when I was 17. And this is how I distinguish it. Because I would say I grew up white. And I mean, for probably white people listening to this, probably don't even know what that means.
Yeah.
So when I say I grew up white, I grew up, even though I had a black parent, my dad, it was a very white traditioned household.
Yeah.
Whereas
White foods.
Yeah, like white food,
No
white
plantain.
tradition, no plant. I
Yeah.
knew what plantain was. I think I was 23. I really missed out. Mum, what did you do?
We had chicken tonight and roast.
Literally, like I only knew of like salt and pepper until I was 23.
yeah.
So it wasn't really until I moved to London and I had an understanding of what black culture was, because obviously it's very
I get it.
multicultural there.
I get it.
And it was actually I had like a conversation with my aunt literally a couple of weeks ago about growing up mixed race, and she like
Yeah, you
That's
see
on
on
yeah,
Instagram.
That's
yeah,
good.
amazing. And like she's
I really liked it.
she's
It's
like
good.
Rasta. Her
Yeah.
husband's Rastafarian, like dreadlocks to the knees.
My mum
like
used to be a Rasta. My godmother,
so
one of
cool.
my godmothers
I
is still
love
a
it.
Rasta.
And
Yeah.
like there she was like the values that she learned to do with like black culture was all learned when she was 17 and she met her partner Mervyn at, so that's how she learned about black culture.
Wow.
So there is a difference between
Yeah,
white
of course
and
there
black
is.
culture,
There
and
is.
like even down to like how you wash up. Like
Yeah.
I don't even know, it's like the bowling or no bowl.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
my
yeah.
mum
Do you rinse your
cusses
dishes?
me for it.
Do you rinse your dishes? Yeah,
Absolutely,
it is.
like
There's
it's like it's a
difference.
like
There is
little
a
things,
difference.
like. But there are cultural differences, and as there probably would be like how Germans do things to
Yeah.
British, or like French
Yeah,
people
there
do
is,
to
there
British. Like
is,
there's
there
just
is.
different things, and I think if you haven't travelled, you don't really know the difference, so you are ignorant to it.
Yeah, and it just it has an impact, and it's just like, and I've said this, I've spoken to him about this. Like, God forbid, but if we were to break it up or anything like that, I don't think I would date another white guy, and that's not because I'm racist,
Yeah.
because unless they've pulled up like my Ryan, unless they've pulled up like him.
Is he listening or something? Because you're being
No,
hell of a nice
he's not
about
listening.
him.
He's sleeping. But if they're not pulled up, like, I don't have the time at this age to teach and school you.
Yeah.
I don't have the time. I literally don't have the time. I don't have the energy.
Yeah.
It's exhausting being a black woman
As it
within
is.
itself
Yeah.
to teach you. I don't have to teach Ryan.
No.
I literally don't have to teach
I really,
him. He
I
knows.
really understand and relate.
Do you know what
to
I
that.
mean?
So I had a white
know.
partner. I mean, the partner I have now is Irish, but partner prior was just white,
Yeah.
British, and that's it. Has like a load of black friends. Would
Yeah.
say like all of his friends are black, actually.
Yeah.
All of them, but I remember this one disagreement, and I knew that was it. I was like, I could never date a white person again,
Yeah.
or at least someone who isn't, as much as they were involved in black culture and
Yeah.
were like immersed in it. Like
they have to be
with
like Ryan.
friends.
They have to be like Ryan,
Yeah,
or else it just not.
'Cause I don't know if you remember in the Olympics, the guy with the dreadlocks, and they made him cut them off as it was a safety hazard.
Which I can't remember this.
Yeah. About 2 years ago, I think
I'll
it
have
was 2, maybe
to-
3 years ago.
Yeah, I'll have to look.
Yeah, a gentleman.
Did he do it?
Yeah, he cut his dreadlocks off.
That's just
So, because they
mental.
wouldn't make him, or they said it was a safety hazard and he couldn't compete.
Oh, please.
My stomach dropped literally through my whole body, and I couldn't believe it. Knowing
Yeah.
like what your hair is,
Yeah.
like an extension of your nerves, and grounding, and
Yeah.
how long that would have
You
taken to
taken,
grow,
yeah, exactly.
and how much your hair actually means. They speak about in the Bible. You know how
yeah.
important hair
Yeah, of
is.
course.
Some religions wrap it to protect it. Like that's how
Yeah,
important
that's
your hair
mental.
is. So to make them cut it off,
Yeah.
and then my partner turned around and said, "Well, yeah, it was a safety hazard." Nah,
Yeah,
get out of my house.
yeah, yeah.
I literally kicked them out. We lived together. Go
Yeah,
out of the house.
yeah,
I'm not speaking to you.
yeah.
Like that's an
That's it.
ignorant comment.
Yeah,
like I
it is.
can't.
It
and
is.
even if you're around black, you're around it.
So you should
So
understand.
you should really kind of see
Yeah.
it. And if you can't,
Yeah.
you need to re-educate yourself
Like
and learn some
my
more
mum's,
things. Like
come down to stay from Birmingham. She came down in her headscarf.
Mm-hmm.
I want my man saying, "What's that on your head?" Ryan knows because I wear my headscarf. In fact, when I've got him drunk, he's put my headscarf on for me.
Yeah.
He's pulled up. He
Yeah,
knows he puts-
absolutely.
if I'm really drunk, Flex, the DJ, when he had his engagement party, I was really drunk, and I just remember waking up with my headscarf on and thinking how this got on. Why put it on?
Listen, he probably tried to pull it down over, but just couldn't get it any further.
But do you know what I mean? I don't have that energy. I literally don't have the energy to school and educate.
Yeah.
So
and it's not our responsibility.
And it's not my responsibility too. So unless they're on par with him or like.
Yeah.
I just can't be asked to do that again.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I think if this year's taught anything, it's taught this.
Yeah, you
this
need to go and
exact
educate. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Go and educate yourself.
It's quite simple.
I know
in my
about your
eyes.
culture. You need to know
Yeah,
about mine.
and in my eyes,
know
it's
about yours
quite
enough.
simple.
Talk about everywhere.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
See it everywhere.
You know what I mean?
You have statues.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's quite simple. There's right and wrong.
Yeah.
And it's clear what's right and what's wrong. And if you can't see that, then this year's definitely taught me. I can't even be bothered to talk to some of the people that come up with some of the comments back.
I just don't.
Not worthy.
I've had to take myself out of it because you find you are getting
heated for no reason.
I mean, obviously, when me and Bella went to the protest, we were like so emotional.
Yeah,
and I just feel that if somebody cannot be emotional for me, as my friend, as my family, then there's not really much more to say.
It's like when I watched Enslaved, because I watched Enslaved because my mum didn't watch them, so we watched them back to back with my mum. My mum was like, God, look what our ancestors had to go through. God, this is so painful. So how can somebody sit there and watch that and then say, oh, get over it, and 400 years ago, but you never say, get over the Holocaust. And I'm not into my oppression's worse than your oppression, but how can you say, because everything that happened with slavery, because after the slavery was there for 300, 400 years, then we had empire and colonizer. So it has had a massive impact. We are still living of the effects of that. So we can't just get over it.
And like systematically, we're still in it.
We're still in it.
Like we're still in it. Like it's not gone. Like they've just redone it. You re-informed prisons to then make it
Do you know
so
what
you
I mean?
enslave more black people. Like no, you're still done it. You've just
and the stats
found a legal way around it.
Yeah. So okay, so moving on. Brilliant. I love this discussion. I love it. Okay, so the last discussion before we go on to this week's question of the week. Free school meals, the free school meal saga.
I'm gonna have to put it right out there. If do you know what? If people can't see that, regardless, that all these comments online are really getting to me. People go out all the time and can drink and blah 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 blah. Yeah, don't get me wrong.
So
in the world, there are people that neglect their kids.
Yeah,
that's life. That is happening.
And it's sad.
And it's sad, and it's happening. Does that mean that their child deserves to go without?
No. Exactly.
I just don't understand why people would want to kind of penalise the child for the mum being the way she is, or the dad being the way she is, or whoever. And that I just find sad.
Yeah,
I find it sad.
Exactly. What do you think?
I think it's disgusting. I think the government is an absolute disgrace. I can't believe that they can give themselves a pay rise and they get £25 a day on food.
Yeah.
You get what, like 25 grand a year, is it, on rent? Something stupid like that, or like £1,200 a month.
Yeah, they get a lot.
On top of your 80 grand a year salary, yet you can't feed kids who obviously can't have a job as their children. Their parents aren't in a position to work or have lost their job because of a pandemic, and have never even, some of them might not have even been on like government support or anything before. To them it's already detrimental to their ego, their self-esteem as a parent, and raising their kid. On top of that, you're not going to try and give them any help whatsoever.
Yeah.
And let's not forget the parents out there that are not asking because they're too embarrassed. I mean, I'll be honest with you, if that was me, I am proud. I don't know if I would ask. Maybe my mum or my closest friends might know, but you're not seeing me put it on anything, because I would be thinking, I don't want anyone to think that I'm this sort of person. There's a lot of people out there that will be feeling like that.
When there's a Coventry MP, and I'll share it on our Instagram, Teo Owatum, don't know if that's how you pronounce her name. Basically, she gave a heartfelt speech in Parliament, and she actually broke because
she was shaking.
And actually, somebody who I know from school was a few years up from me. She messaged me. She went, I literally felt every word, and I was like, yeah, I felt every word. And she said, obviously I won't say her name, but she said, I was on free school meals when I was at school, and I had the free uniform, you know, and you know, the person I'm talking about, she's done so well now with her kids and everything.
Yeah.
But you know what? I said to her, I said, I was on free school meals as well.
Yeah.
I said, I know exactly. And I said, I know the uniform that you're talking about, because the coats came from a particular uniform shop. So it was the kids who couldn't afford it or got this grant. We all wore the same coat. So do you know what I mean? So you look and you know that they've had the free grant as well, and they've had free school.
Yeah.
I've had the free school meal. My mum worked, but she was still entitled to it.
Yeah.
I work, and I still received the voucher.
Yeah.
I received the voucher, and thank God. And I'm telling you, that helped, because my salary was cut to 80%. I'm still furloughed now. So imagine, my bills are still the same.
Yeah.
I haven't been on lavish holiday. I haven't done lavish things this year, because you know what? We've been in a pandemic. So that £15 a week voucher, it helped towards my shopping. So thank you, Marcus. You know, and for allowing people like me to get it through, to get it through the holidays. And I feel like people are so... They thought, parents should look after their own kids. Yeah, I do look after my child and my children, but I'm entitled to it.
Yeah.
So if I'm entitled to it, I'm going to accept it and I'm going to take it. And actually, it's nothing to do with whether or not I can afford to feed my child. Of course, but we're in a pandemic.
Yeah.
I just don't understand how people don't get it. And you know what? These people who don't get it, they're part of the All Lives Matter brigade.
Yeah.
They are part of the All Lives Matter brigade.
Yep.
They are them.
Do you know, I saw...
All lives matter apart from starving kids.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's just like...
And animals.
And animals. Yeah, because they always are there.
Animals over people. I mean, I'm all for just lives in general, but like you can't value more over the... Everyone is the same. Like...
And what I actually saved it because
I've seen as well a lot of hard stuff, but it was actually Tess, and they shared this piece the other day, and it was heartbreaking. It was a young boy saying, you know, how he has to go into school and his mum will sometimes ask him to, you know, hold out or to maybe try and take something home, or sometimes they go hungry. And I was literally, my heart felt like it dropped, because I just thought, oh my God, like imagine being that child and having to think about what you're eating for your family and your other two kids.
They know they're poor. Like they know they don't have food. They know, like they know. Like,
and I chuck stupid amounts of food a week. Stupid amounts of food, like fruit and veg that might not be right, or a bit of chicken that's a day out of date that I'm too fussy to eat, or I feel there's people out there that would kill for that. They would take that and they would
and
still.
Actually, people keep saying, it's you know, this is what Labour's did, it's a handout generation. Labour haven't been in for 10 years. We've had 10 years of austerity, and like it's just like, you know, they've cut on everything. Like they've cut on in the schools, like every service that you can think of. I'm sorry. They've cut that bit. Do you know what I mean? Like literally, you just think of everything, and the Conservatives have cut. So you've got nurses and teachers who go to food banks.
Yeah. Have you seen though that in Plymouth and London at the minute, there's quite a few places, Papa John's, Kingfisher in Plimpton, they're all giving like free meals. This, like...
And if anyone is listening to us or anybody knows, message us on Instagram and we'll share them.
And if anybody is listening and anybody is struggling in Plymouth or London, because we can ask Bella.
Absolutely.
Anywhere in the country.
But just drop us in and it will stay confidential. There'll be no names or anything, but we can give you some links and places to go.
Some people I want. So these are the main MPs that voted against. So you had Gavin Williamson, who is the Educational Secretary, Nick Gibb, School Standards, Michelle Donnellan, she's the Secretary for Universities, Gillian Keegan, Apprenticeships, and Vicky Ford, Children's Minister, all voted against free school meals. Including Johnny Mercier, our local MP down here as well. He voted against free school meals. Johnny Mercier, let me say.
She don't care. She loves it. Just want to name drop them all.
So that
Do these people have kids of their own?
Probably.
They do, but they're so far detached. I think they're so far detached.
I love that. Do you know them programs that are like you swap lives for 24 hours? I would love for them to experience how the other
24
half
hours
live.
is
A
not
week.
enough.
A week.
No, let's give them a week.
Yeah,
A week.
Give them a week.
Or maybe even 2, because that would be nice. Because
That would be nice.
because they could do a week. They could do a week in the life how they see, and then they could maybe treat the family to the week of their life.
Give them a week on all of the government things that they've agreed, gone against or agreed to. So they're not allowed their £15. Just see how they deal with it.
Mm-hmm. And do you know what I think it is as well? It's because Matt Haycock was like, "Oh, well done for Marcus and all the businesses pulling up and supporting and stuff like." No, it's your job to do. This is your country, and actually, I think it's more about I'm not letting a black footballer to that tell me what to do. I feel like it's that. Why should I do what they've said? Do you know what I mean? I think it's much more than, and I think it's much more than. Oh my God, it's bad because they did U-turn, didn't they, before the holidays? Yeah. And I think with pressure they're going to U-turn. I think. What do you think? Do you think
they should?
They should.
They absolutely should.
It should. What do you think? Do you think they U-turn, John? Not sure.
No,
really, because
not
the businesses have stepped up, so they're thinking, "What's the point?"
Yeah, I mean, I hope they do. I really, really hope they do. But I'm just more happy that I see a lot of people. I mean, I wish that some of the people were as vocal about Black Lives Matter as they are about the free school meals. But I like that. A lot of people are caring.
But they need to remember this for the next election.
Yeah.
Because I'm sorry, they've always been the nasty party. Miss Thatcher wasn't called the milk snatcher for no reason. She stopped free milk in the late 70s, early 80s.
I used to love that free milk.
Do you know
Remember the little glass ones that used to come on the doorstep? I used to feel like it was Christmas if Mum ordered an orange. If we had orange juice on the doorstep, I used to be like... We used to argue over who had the cream on top and the cornflakes in the morning.
Oh my God. Okay. So we just need to remember this. But do you know what? There's a generational divide, and I think there's a new generation coming through who are more liberal and who are very open and who are very much Black Lives Matter, LGBT. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I definitely
and
agree.
I feel like maybe not in
and entrepreneurial as well.
Yeah.
I think the
There's
upcoming
a change,
generation.
isn't it?
Yeah, there is
a fix. So, question of the week, Sean. Will you be able to put this on that Instagram?
I'm just doing some now.
Okay. So you're invited to lunch with a person you've always wanted to meet. Who is it? To you, Isabella.
I know you're saying.
I think there's 2, but yeah,
you can only have one.
I know. I'm gonna actually go with Rihanna.
Really?
Yeah. So when he said Beyonce or Rihanna, I was like Rihanna. I love her.
Yeah.
I can't even believe that it took Rihanna to bring out Blacker Shades of Foundation.
Yeah, I know.
Like,
hello,
bro, come on.
Yeah.
So and the fact
that her foundation is really good.
Her makeup line, I love her. Smooth. Like her music's obviously incredible. Like been a fan of her from the beginning of her career. But the makeup line, her underwear, Savage Fenty, the inclusivity of LGBT, trans, bald-headed women. Like
she steps up, man.
The spectrum of people is so Asian. Like I've seen so many different kinds of women. Whether they be cis, whether they be homosexual, whether they have
she
transition.
Represents her Caribbean heritage as well.
You can see everyone's representation in her line, in both of her her brands, and I love that. And I love that she was the first female. I'm a massive sneakerhead, and I love she was the first female designer from female. Love that collaboration. So I love her. I just think she's amazing. Oh, yes, no.
Other brands are available, but I love Puma.
I'm definitely a night girl, sorry. But no, Rihanna, like anything. But no, I really love her. A lot of respect for her and how she bought her mum.
Yeah.
Love it.
She is. What about you, Sean? Who would you
If I could go to lunch with anyone?
Yeah.
I really don't know. Anyone in the world, if I could go to lunch with anyone in the world.
No, you can't.
Like dead or alive?
Yeah, it could be a dead.
With their ghost.
If it was someone dead, then Black Panther, Chadwick Boseman. I've literally got a stupid love for him.
Yeah.
I've got such a stupid love for him. And when I've now gone into his life, because I went down a really deep path of finding out about him, I really loved what he stood for, what he was all about, how he was so humble, how he was grateful, how he kind of kept his life private. I really respect that.
And his circle.
Because he wouldn't have got where he got.
Absolutely.
He wouldn't have got Black Panther if he had told them, 4 years ago that this was his kind of destiny. And I watched an interview, which I probably said about, there's a film called The Bloods on Netflix.
Yeah.
And they had to run through the desert. And as they were running through the desert, when they would like take 5 minutes or whatever, they would end the scene. One of the older men would see him getting his feet massaged and getting a neck massage, and he had 2 doctors, and his wife then was like rubbing his shoulder, and he went home, this older man, I can't remember his name, it's on YouTube, he went home to his wife and he said, do you know what, Chadwick Boseman's let like Black Panther fame go to his head, he is so precious. And he said, and now he looks back.
Can't judge, man. You don't know what next man's going through.
And he started crying. He started
idea.
crying, and he said, God bless him and God forgive me.
Yeah.
Because if I had known that he had been running through the desert doing his own scenes, because he wanted to do his own scenes while battling stage 4, he would never, ever, ever have made those judgments. And he was devastated. And it made me think, we're all guilty of it. But it just made me think what an amazing human he was.
Yeah.
And I'd have loved to have met him.
That's
I'd have loved to have met him. So it would be my Chad.
Yeah. Mine would be Oprah Winfrey.
Ooh.
I do love Oprah. Do you like a bit of
I
Oprah?
just think, I don't know, like, I'd be so in awe of her. Like, she's just...
And she's had a
hard life, hasn't she?
Yeah.
Her story's really interesting, isn't it?
It is, and the way she just worked with her production company, and she gives so much to charity. She does so much, and like even just watching her she does these Instagram lives where she's cooking with her best friend Gail in the kitchen, and she just seems like a regular woman with her wine. And she was a bit drunk the other night and stuff like that. I don't know. I think she's got a partner, but she's really close.
I thought they were together.
Really?
I was told Oprah was part of the LGBT community.
Okay.
I mean, it doesn't make any difference.
No.
Again, guys, it doesn't matter.
I don't know though. I don't know.
But I love that.
Yeah, but I just love her. Like, I just think she's amazing. I would really, really like to meet her.
She'd be incredible. So
just ask her so much.
yeah,
and
it's
just,
so
like,
much
wow,
wisdom.
And, yeah, and and even when she had her talk show and she gave all those women free cars and things like that, like she didn't have to do that, but she did. And I don't think she did it to say, "Oh, look at me! Look at what I've done." I just think she's just a genuinely nice person.
Yeah.
But so moving on to our next section, mental health. Next section of the show may be a bit sensitive, so we do understand if you want to stop listening at this point, because we will be discussing mental health. So let me throw some stats at you. I love my stats. 1 in 4 people will experience a mental health problem of some kind each year in England. 1 in 6 people report having a common mental health problem, like anxiety or depression, in any given week in England. So, bearing in mind what we're still going through, a pandemic, how has this impacted on both of your mental health?
For me personally, it's been tough. I do think it's been tough, and I wouldn't be true to myself if I said it wasn't. There's been elements that I've loved. I've loved having my whole family together. I've loved that. But there's been some dark days, some really down days. There's been social media that can make me look into things. The pandemic wasn't just the pandemic. There was Black Lives Matter. There was your children being cooped. There was your relationship with your partner. There was there's so many different things going on. So many different things. For me personally, my son's autistic. I've got so many personal things that sometimes you feel on your own with. Then you go into your own thoughts, and then it can kind of overlap. So for me, I wouldn't be true if I said it was easy, because it's been tough. It's been tough.
Yeah. From speaking to a lot of people last week, I think last week for some reason was a struggle.
You knew.
The
I had a bad week.
Yeah, the weather changed as well. It was quite rainy and
dark.
Yeah,
as
dark.
well. It was very dark.
And I think that affected people's moods.
Yeah.
Generally speaking to everybody, everyone was sort of just like, oh, I've had enough. And just by seeing people's posts as well, I think last week was like a really, really hard week. And we needed to come to half term. It's half term
and
now.
you knew off my aura. I didn't even say anything, and you
could
said.
just tell that the vibe just wasn't there. What about you, Isabella?
No, I've definitely found it hard. I'm someone I'm very OCD. It's one of my there's one of my things. I suffer with OCD. So it does like control life. I have to have an immaculate space before I can do anything. It's just how my brain works. So I left my apartment in London, which I would say was the first time it felt like home to me. It was like the first apartment that felt like home. And then I quarantined in Ireland with my partner for 4 months, I think. And then we both quarantined together in Plymouth for 5. And I mean, I'm 25, they're 28. It's like no one really wants to be back with their parents and like living under different people's rules. I'm a very open person. I'm very free spirited. I don't like to be restricted. I work for myself. I don't like to be I don't do that.
You've always done your thing.
Yeah, I do my own thing. I don't like I can take on people's opinions and that's great, but I'll listen to myself all the time, like absolutely. So living under other people's roofs,
It was hard.
so I found that really difficult. And then I'm a very empathic person, so that was really hard.
That's even worse, isn't it?
So I mean, I lost 4 people this year, literally within the space of like 4 months, 3 months.
Yeah, you did.
And that was so hard, so hard, especially my friend Nicole. She passed with her unborn child, and I still haven't stepped in a studio. Like I can't go to a dance studio. Like it's I don't know. Like it really hit me. Like, and she was 24, and I was turning 25 this year. And another I wouldn't say, I can't really say we were friends. I hadn't seen, but we did go to school together. So I can't say we were friends. I think that's disrespectful to say so, but he was an incredible person, and he was 24, and
so young,
and he was such an incredible person. Like, I just remember them being a light in a room all the time, and every time I saw, like, I never really spoke to them since after we like left school, but I always saw like photos of them, and they always seemed so happy, and on their feed was always supporting people and encouraging people. So to see a light of like that in a person out of the world, and exactly the same for Nicole, it's heartbreaking. And especially when they have so much going for them. And I'm about to turn 25 and you're 24. I was like, am I even going to make it? Like these people had so much going for them. It was so unexpected, and like it was really hard to mentally comprehend. So then that, like feeling those things, and then obviously having like my partner's emotions and dealing with their emotions, and like my parents' emotions, like because of their jobs, and they've got things going uproar in their life, and then friends and checking in on them. Like my friend's dad had cancer, stage 4, and couldn't get any chemo treatment because when it started. So there were so many things going on, and then Kobe and Epstein and SARS and all these things happening in the world. I felt so heavy. Like I think like I went to a really, really dark place. I remember one week so specifically, and I just didn't think I could do it. I was like, there's no way I don't know how. Like I can't keep carrying the weight of the world. It's a lot. So I tried speaking on like social media about it, because I am a mental health advocate, and I do really think it's important like to speak how you're feeling and be true to how you are. And especially as someone who's like very spiritual and very like trying to be on the positive side of things, you can't, like sometimes you just can't, and you can't promote that either. Like if you feel sad, be sad, sit and just like express it, let it out, and like find your ways. But
I mean, obviously it was hard, and there was positives, like me and my girls being away, but I was away from my mum, my family in Birmingham, and my partner, he was working and living in Cornwall, so I didn't see him for like 3 or 4 months.
Were you alone?
Yeah, my 2 girls, so it was just
that must have been really hard.
So that was hard. And then obviously the BLM thing, that knocked me, and I cannot believe how much I still can't get over how much, like to the point where I said I did an Insta live on Friday night, and I said it actually affected my business. Like,
Really?
yeah, because I'm an instructor and I just couldn't work. I couldn't stand there and be like, yeah, hands up there. Woo.
Yeah.
I just couldn't do it. I
Yeah.
couldn't do it. And it knocked me out for about 5-6, and then, so because I wasn't instructed, I wasn't eating properly. I was eating crap. Then I'd stop running, and then I just had this knock-on effect. Like, I literally mentally could not get over it. And actually, one of my older instructor friends, she messaged to say, because she was going to come over, and then she was like, I can't come over. So rather than texting, I just sent her a voice note, but I was crying, and she rang me straight away. We were crying on the phone together, and she was just like, I apologise, I didn't understand, and I didn't realise it affected you that much. And it's like, because it's trauma, it's traumatic on top of everything else what is going on. And I can't believe that I'm seeing people justify, well, he was a rapist, he did this, he did that. I like, okay, but that, you don't see images of white men getting incarcerated and things like that happening all the time. Being black, growing up black, you do. Eventually it weighs so heavy
in the media as well. Like, it's never like, say if you see someone, if they were, say, a rapist but they were white, you don't see the vocabulary that comes with it. Like, if it was black people, thugs, like all this vocabulary. If it's not, you don't even have the word white. You just have, I don't know, 30-year-old rapist, and it's almost taking out any emotion behind it.
It is.
But if it, God forbid, it was anyone of colour, it would be like nasty thugs, like, and it really hit, and it's traumatized. And I really feel like BLM probably relayed over our own experiences
over and over again. And then I had my children deal with it because it was so on. And then, so my older one was sort of like, this happens all the time. So she was very, but my younger one was like, well, why is the police doing that?
Yeah.
So, and I know that what she was thinking, well, if the police are doing that to him, if I'm in trouble, what do they do that to me? And she even said to me a few weeks after 8, she said, a few weeks after, I want to be white when I grow up. And I was like, why do you want to be white for? She's a mixed race. And she said, so the police don't kill me?
Yeah,
she's 8. And I had to be like, and when you have to strip it back and say, this is what happened. And so it's all dealing with all that as well as your own emotions. And then, like, people dying. I've had a lot of death in my family. My nan died. So when Boris Johnson in the evening announced the official lockdown, my nan's funeral was the morning of that. But because of all the changes, things were changing, like, hourly. Like, they weren't even going to collect the coffin. Oh, my God, it was just horrific. Like, and I feel like me and my mum and some family members are still grieving over that because, in the Jamaican, we give them a send-off, don't we, when it's funerals. And that's one thing that's culturally different. And, we still mould the earth, and it's almost like a celebration of life.
Yeah,
not
absolutely.
Like, and we just didn't get to do that for my nan. And then my great uncle died, and then so many people, so I've had a lot of death. So it's all that to deal with. And then even yesterday, some of my close friends, their sisters passed, and it's just like this year, it just keeps giving.
It's come from everywhere.
It just keeps coming from everywhere. It doesn't stop.
And you feel like you finally get to a place. I found this every time. I feel like, well, next week I'm going to get onto it. And something. I'm just like, are you serious? I have tried. I'm scrambling to get some stability into my life, and you know, you're testing me at every way, which angle, like, please.
So I beg, so all these positive and gratitude. I can, but there's only so much positive I've got left.
Absolutely.
And there's only so much gratitude I've got left. Even though we always must be grateful, I get that, but sometimes it's hard to find that little one element of gratitude.
No, absolutely. And that's okay as well. Like, it's absolutely okay. Like, you can't. So I really did find that on my platform. I know I'm so like, positive, be happy, be happy. But like, no. Like, your emotions are real. What you're feeling is what you're feeling. And if you need to cry, please cry.
And if you want to feel rubbish, feel rubbish. If you
want to feel rubbish, like,
go through it.
Yeah, and you have to feel your emotion. If you don't allow yourself to really feel what you're feeling, you're not going to heal ever. Like, you're just going to keep burying it and burying it and suppressing it, and you're going to get angrier and angrier. Exactly. And it's just not going to get anywhere.
So I've got some other stats. So people who identify as LGBTIQ plus people are between 2 to 3 times more likely than heterosexual people to report having a mental health problem. in England? Do you think about that?
But I want to go on, speaking about that, again, media and J.K. Rowling.
Oh, I learnt what TERF was yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
My friend told me, who I told you about.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, she told me.
Yeah, no.
So, do you know what TERF is?
No.
Sorry.
Like TERF to the people.
Yeah.
No, you can just explain.
No, you go. You explain.
I feel like you're going to have a better...
No, go
please
on.
say.
Yeah. So, if I'm right in saying, so a TERF is a person who doesn't believe in... let me get it right. So, a TERF is a person who doesn't believe that... so, I was telling you about my friend's daughter.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, friend's son.
Do we need to Google?
Friend's son. So basically, she got. So she wants to use a female toilet. I don't know if I'm saying it right. I can't explain it. Isabel, you're gonna have to explain it because I only just got it explained to me yesterday.
That's absolutely fine. It is a trans inclusionary of radical feminists.
There you go.
So a group of feminists that claim that trans women aren't really women
There you
as
go.
biologically determined.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
That's it. Yeah.
I actually have an incredible human I know called Ethan Jones. Everyone, please look him up.
Okay. He's on Instagram.
I need to write him down.
Getting followed.
He's a trans man. He dates Body Positivity Panda. You might have heard of her as well.
Wow,
She's an
okay.
author. And he was the first male to be represented in a period campaign.
You shared him the other day.
He's incredible. Like,
Gorgeous.
he's stunning, man. Like, he's so amazing. And he literally went off on J.K. Rowling, and because, like we said, gender identity is a spectrum. So even down to periods and what toilets you use, some men menstruate. Some women are born with different different disabilities. They don't even have a uterus. They might not have fallopian tubes. So does that make them less of a woman because they don't menstruate? Is a point that he was trying to prove, and it's true. And then there's other men that have different bodily functions that do menstruate, but they're men. So does that make them less manly?
Yeah.
So like, gender is a spectrum. Not all women menstruate, and not all people who menstruate are women. And I think using bathrooms, especially like, it is very confusing. Like I went to like a stage school, so I was around a lot of drag queens and all, like, just queens in general.
Yeah.
Love them.
I love drama, so I know.
Amazing. But say like, as themselves, their pronoun would be he, him. Okay. So they'd probably use a male bathroom, but in drag, their pronouns would change to she, her, as they're dressing as a woman. So they'd probably use a female bathroom.
Yeah. Okay.
But then those who don't identify as either, so the non-binary group, maybe even, and trans, to be honest, just because of how people view them.
Yeah.
Say like, they could be a trans man, so transitioning to a man, but may still look slightly feminine to someone else. So they wouldn't deem them as a man. So would feel away if they were to walk into a man's bathroom because they look too feminine for them.
Okay.
But it's nothing to do with you and what you think someone looks like. If you think they're a man, it's how that person feels.
Yeah, of course.
And the whole, like, I've watched quite a lot of TED Talks, actually, particularly about non-binary people using bathrooms. And the fact that some people are even giving themselves, like, intestine issues from holding the bathroom because it makes them feel so bad. The thought of having to put themselves in a female toilet because they look female, or having to go to a men's toilet because they look masculine. And they're not either. They don't want that option. So they feel like, oh, I'm just going to use the disabled toilet. But then even that, they're like, I'm not handicapped, I'm not disabled, I'm just myself. They are their name. That's what they identify with. So to see just men and women, they don't see themselves. They're not represented even in a toilet situation.
Is there anywhere like around that do? Like,
in London there is, Not everywhere, but like a lot in like gay bars and things like that. That's gender neutral toilets.
You
just go to
but
the
do you
toilet.
know what though? Before, because I finished teaching, like I came out of teaching 2 years ago, and the more schools, the more modern the school, or like say a new built school,
Yeah.
the toilets were gender neutral.
I think
And
it
I
should
was really
be.
surprised. And I said that to my mum, and my mum was like, because when I grew up in the 80s, went to school in secondary school in the 90s, so it was very boy girl.
Yeah.
But the modern schools, a lot of them in Plymouth are gender neutral.
That's really good.
Yeah, a lot of them.
No, I
was
definitely think
surprised.
gender neutral is
As long as
a
people
way
are clean.
forward. Oh my
That's
God.
my main thing with toilets.
Yeah,
Because
men's bathrooms are nasty.
I've used toilets. But I've equally used women's toilets and thought, you're disgusting.
Sorry,
Do you know
women.
what I
I
mean?
don't understand how you can miss the toilet sometimes. Like, please sort this issue out.
Like, I just don't get it.
Confusing.
So as long as the toilet's clean, I just don't.
And if you do miss the toilet and you did drip, clean it up.
Yeah,
Wipe it.
do you know what I mean? I
You're
don't
not
sit
a
on
child.
there anyway.
Yeah.
I'm
You
like
can see
literally
the mess
Michael
anyway.
Jackson. I like hover. I like hover. I don't know what I'm going to do when I'm old and my knees go. I do.
I got to put the toilet paper all around the
My
seat.
mum does that. I'm like, Mum, what are you doing in there?
The whole thing.
I'm like, Mum, what are you doing there? So she cleans it first. She brings her little white. She cleans.
Literally. Nope.
All right,
Process.
listen, ladies, I'm
Good old
not telling
dappers.
you how I go to the toilet.
I hover. I just like, I don't want to.
Mrs. Bouquet.
Yeah, I hover, man. Like literally, like Michael Jackson on my heels. But yeah, as long as you're clean, like I didn't even know that about being tested. Like that is
Yeah,
just
like I
awful.
remember watching. There's so many. You can watch TED Talks
Talks
on,
on YouTube,
on people being or speaking about identifying as
Yeah.
non-binary,
Yeah.
and it's really interesting hearing their perspectives. And another thing that I was going to say earlier about like sexuality and the mental health of it as well. If you've noticed in like horror films or in murder films, it's always a trans person,
Yeah.
or they make the evil character queer.
Yeah.
So then they're seen as insane.
Yeah.
So in
And isn't J.K. Rowling doing that
all
with her
the
new
time,
book?
yeah.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
book is it?
It's a
don't
murder
even wanna
mystery. I
promote
think
her.
it is. Yeah.
Is J.K. Rowling Harry Potter?
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
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 She's not. I
Yeah.
just don't rate
no.
her. No, sorry, sorry, not
Yeah,
sorry.
I was really, really surprised when my
Yeah.
friend was telling me yesterday.
What a shame.
It's really.
But especially in like the 60s and 70s, there's a whole actually LGBT section on Netflix.
Yeah.
And there's Pose, which is amazing. And then I can't remember the
mad.
name of it. I'm gonna have to find it. You could put it on
Instagram.
on Instagram. But yeah, it was just talking about the media and representing trans people from like the 60s and 70s, and even they'd have one. So even in like there was like a soldier, like a film about soldiers, and it had one person there who they put in as trans,
Yeah.
but he was mental.
Yeah.
So they
Yeah.
had the inclusivity
Yeah.
there, but they then spin it so
Yeah.
they just look insane,
Yeah.
or they're a murderer, or they're a
Yeah.
rapist, or they're these
So
horrible.
what they would do to black characters
Yeah,
then?
they
Like the
do
black character always dies first,
exactly.
doesn't it? In our
Yeah, and what I find as well is that the LGBT movement is what started the whole protest.
Stonewall.
Yeah.
Yeah, Stonewall. Yeah.
And like it was LGBT that was carrying
Yeah.
the
Absolutely.
black community
Yeah.
and all of these things.
Yeah.
So with the whole BLM,
Yeah.
absolutely
comes
march
from
for
that,
BLM.
yeah.
But don't you dare just march for BLM and not
Yeah,
BLM
yeah,
trans and not
yeah,
be
yeah,
when they were the
yeah.
people that carried you to this point in the
Yeah,
first place. It wouldn't be
yeah.
for them if you like.
Yeah.
It wouldn't. So no.
It's so true. So
Yeah.
here's another. So black British people, 23% of black British people will experience a common mental health problem in any given week. This compares to 17% of white British people. 23% sent it. Like that is just.
That's
And
a lot.
I think that is the systematic
Yeah.
racism and the
Absolutely.
microaggressions and how you have to suppress being
Gaslighting.
yourself at work. Like I'm fortunate, the company, and I'm going to big them up, Socialgram, like it's a media account agency, and like or they just allow you to be yourself.
Yeah.
And they were really open with the BLM movement. They they did the Black Square, and that wasn't just a thing. They just did it and moved on. Like they were literally, we are standing by you. There's no sideline of racism. Fuck crazy. They were so
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm allowed to swear, sorry. They were very much out there and just like, do you know what I mean? They were so out there, and the support was there, and you know, the representation and in their campaigns and things like that. They used like because they did like different media campaigns. They weren't afraid to use My Hands as the campaigns and things like. Do you know what
That's
I mean?
nice,
They were
yeah.
just like an amazing company, and if more companies were like that, like
Absolutely.
we probably wouldn't have the stats this high.
Yeah.
Because we need to address why this is so high. This is not right. 23 to 17%. Like what are we? What's going on?
I also feel, and you know, I absolutely feel that the stigma and the pressure that's put onto black people is that they're very strong.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
you're strong.
I'm a strong black woman.
You're a strong black woman. You're an independent black woman.
Yeah.
And as much as it is uplifting and it is powerful, yes, but they're human.
Oh my god, yeah, of course.
Like, not everyone is
Yeah.
strong and confident and happy 100% of the time. Like,
I thought that was me then.
I'm so sorry. I wonder what that was. Yeah, no. So
Yeah, that's not. It's not good. That is a killer of us.
Yeah.
Because they throw constant things at us, thinking that
this
we can
is,
cope
like,
and deal with it.
especially, so my friend Nicole, I don't know what happened in that room, but black pregnancy,
Yeah, we discussed this. Didn't we?
like,
1 in
Yeah.
5.
yeah,
1 in
then
5.
women aren't heard, like, and it needs to change, like, absolutely needs to change. Like, I don't get where that stigma of just because our pigment we have more melanin in our skin that we're stronger,
Yeah,
like, because you oppressed us for so long.
We've got a higher pain threshold.
We're used to it now.
That's systematic racism within itself. We've got
Yeah.
a high, are you actually kidding me? We've got a higher threshold. Like, and if you take it back further, that goes back to slavery
Yeah.
days. How they saw us as nothing.
As if, like, you
They
toughened
would
us up.
Yeah, but they
No.
like, you just can't get your head around it. Like, we still feel pain. Like, definitely
Like the next
emotional
person.
pain, like the next person, and you know, they fob you off and stuff like that, and it does happen a lot of times. That stat is not there for no reason. Like, you can manipulate stats, but the numbers do usually come from some sort of research. And actually, a close friend of mine, like the way she was treated, and she said she was grateful that she didn't fall into their stereotypical type, because she did have her husband, but the way the nurses and doctors spoke to her, it's like, this is mental. Like, seriously, like, how can you speak to me like that? Like, and she wasn't like, do you know who I am? I just want to be treated like everybody else.
Yeah.
That is that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So like you say,
Like, we don't want privilege.
No.
We don't want any
No, just
extra.
want to be treated
What,
equal.
Do you know what though? With Isaiah, I would say up on the ward, lovely. When they sent me down to the
Maternity.
labour suite
Oh.
to give birth, they weren't having none of it. They were quite leave me to it. Didn't that sort of approach? They didn't want to. You're not even far enough. Blah blah blah. I don't know why they've sent you down here. They tried to fob me off. It wasn't until I name dropped somebody. I'll put it out there, Gareth's mum, because she was high up there. That the tables turned. I got everything I wanted then.
Really? See, that's just like, why
So bad.
should you have to do that? They're putting babies and they're putting black women at
Yeah.
risk. Do you know what I mean?
But I'm not going to say all of them. It was just one. One
But
particular.
you know, but it's also that perception of like black, like single parents and things like that. Like, so white women aren't single parents.
I see so many white single parents.
Do you know what I mean?
I
Like,
see so many single parents, period.
yeah, exactly.
Race doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't
Like-
matter. Like, you know, and my godmother, her daughter was doing sociology, and in the textbook it had these stats about, and it said something along the lines of Caribbean men are more likely to leave their families, and black women are, and she challenged it. I think this was about 2 years ago. She challenged it, and I can't remember the education board, but they actually changed. They withdrew the textbooks, and they actually changed that paragraph. 'Cause she
Caribbean
really
men are
judged-
more likely to leave.
leave the families, and that's why we have so many disruptive
Never heard
children
that.
and disruptive crimes.
I've
because
never
of course,
heard.
It's only Caribbean
Yeah,
people,
it's
obviously, that
only-
leave and can disrupt
it's only-
families.
Brothers.
And this is the impact it has, and this is the strain, and this is the pressure that we have.
I'm going to do
this is
you.
literally-
Jesus wept.
Jesus wept. Okay, so Okay, young women aged 16 to 24, over a quarter, which is just 26% of young women aged between 16 and 24 years old, report having a common mental health problem in any given week. This compares to 17% of adults, and this number has been going up. So I'm an old fart here. You're 20, just gone 25.
Yeah.
25.
36.
So, you're an old hag as well. You're. I'm only joking.
Thank you ever so much.
But
Everyone looks 21.
Yeah, everyone looks 21.
Natasha looks 14.
I can't even get wine at my
14.
local B&M's. I had my mask on and he was like, I was like, do you know what? I'm not even fighting you. Like,
Them good jeans.
I just walked out and thought, God, I'm like 30, I'm like 40 next year.
You do look
And I just
15.
literally-
You look about 14,
That's
15.
right.
Good. The body don't feel 15 though, let me tell you. So you're in this stat. So what do you think that, like, why do you think that stat's so high, and the fact that it's rising 16 to 24? What's going on in society that is having so much pressure on?
I think there's many things going
Yeah.
on in society. I think the elder generation obviously go through the midlife crisis. You had the
Yeah,
whole
yeah.
midlife crisis. I don't know if you've heard about the quarter life crisis.
No.
Yeah, which is this age category of
Right,
like
okay.
16 to 24. And it's basically like in a midlife crisis is when you feel stuck and you feel like you're doing the same thing. You
Yeah.
feel stuck and you like break out and do something like
At
wild.
the age of 24.
No, that's a midlife
Oh,
crisis.
yeah.
It's like
yeah.
the
I
whole
haven't reached that
stuck
part
phase.
yet.
Whereas, and then you might get someone like by a car or
Yeah,
like
yeah.
something like that.
That's
Then-
when people are more likely to have affairs.
yeah.
Yeah.
So then there's that. And then the quarter life crisis, which is like the 16 to 24,
Yeah.
is when you have so many options available. You're so
Right.
anxious, you don't know what to do.
Yeah,
You're just
overwhelmed.
overwhelmed. Like, shall you go to uni? Shall you not go to uni? Shall I listen to my parents?
Yeah.
Shall I listen to myself? Shall I be with my
Right.
partner? Or should I travel? Should I take a gap year? Like,
okay.
there's so many different
get it.
emotions. And then you have social media.
Oh, God.
With like people like, oh, I'm in this restaurant. Oh, I make 25 grand in a day. Like,
Yeah.
random,
Doing
like,
a milkshake.
like the shake that doesn't
Yeah,
even work. So
yeah.
it's like there's so much pressure and so much
Quarter life crisis,
a quarter life
okay.
crisis. So just so many options, and you just think you should have everything together, and you don't know really where you want to go because you're not old enough.
Yeah.
You haven't probably lived enough or
No.
experienced. I hope. And some people obviously had different life
Mm-hmm.
experiences, but I'd hope that you haven't had too much of a traumatic time
Yeah.
by this age, and you're still figuring out where you want to go and
Yeah.
what you want to do. That's different for some people. Like I've known since I was about 8, I want to dance. I want to move to
Yeah.
London at 16. I want to move to America. But maybe not America anymore.
Yeah.
But
Not until he goes.
yeah, he has to go.
Yeah.
So like I was lucky that I was one of them people that I knew kind of what I want to do.
Yeah.
But then but even that comes with its own things, and you have
Yeah.
its own like little challenges and things pop up and things change. And like I was always wanted to be a dancer when I grew up, like
Yeah.
just dance. And then I went through my own life experiences of domestic abuse and sexuality and moving to London and just different traumas and substance abuse and things like
Yeah.
that. And it really shaped and changed completely who I
Yeah.
was when I grew up here. And I travelled and I went to Europe and
That
I went to
helps, doesn't it?
America and I was around, like my college itself was so cultural. Like I was in a class with people from Scotland, Ireland,
Where was this
Greece.
in London?
Yeah, so I went to a stage school. So
Wow.
not only was I around different cultures and different identities, I then had to speak in different accents and learn different cultures for acting
So it opened
or for
your-
songs. So
opened your
I was
mind,
so
yeah.
open-minded and just pulled in all these different directions. I was like, oh, I don't know. Like, of course I want to dance. I absolutely want to dance, but
There's
that's not
other
my
options.
only purpose in life. Like,
yeah.
I have so many other things I'm interested in, and then that in itself, I'm like, oh well, shall I do my women empowerment event? Shall I keep doing these events? Shall I start this event that I want to do? Shall I do my
you
customs?
would have got that same experience if you just stayed in Plymouth?
Absolutely not.
No.
Although I've always known I didn't belong here.
Yeah.
Always knew I didn't see myself here. Like even looking at other people, we didn't have the same conversation. I didn't feel, I would talk to people and I feel like they'd miss me in conversation or they didn't hear actually what I was saying.
Yeah.
And we just didn't fit, and that's fine. Like I knew I didn't fit in here. That's okay. I fit in elsewhere, and I
Yeah.
can make my own places in the world.
Absolutely.
But yeah, no, I think that's definitely a thing
Yeah.
within 16 to 24. Like you don't know if you should stay in at school.
too
There's
many
so
options now, because like I would say like there was options in my time,
Yeah.
but it was literally you go into work, travel, or you go to university. There's so many other options now. Do a bit of but like I think that it was work, uni or travel. Like that was it.
Yeah, and that's another thing I would say. The generation above mine, so the next 3 generations above mine, so like the 35s, 45s, 65s, like all like those generations.
That's us.
That is us.
There's 3 generations, but
That is us.
you paved the way for us, like especially as black women. Like you paved the way for that whole. Like 'cause there weren't many options for women. Like really, like you could work in travel and tourism. You could work. Like I know my partner. Like for them, her mum in Ireland. Like there was only really like you could work in a post office, or you could be like an air hostess. Like you didn't have social media. You didn't have like
and we've got
media
our own
outlets
influencers
like that. Like
you know, before like you see like I don't know, like those Love Island people. I got nothing against them. I literally genuinely don't have anything against them, and I don't have anything against Towie and stuff like that. But I don't identify with them.
No, it's nothing against them, but I think it's really important with influencers that you have some kind of influence.
Yeah, exactly.
You posting teeth whitening and you with your relationship and doesn't do anything for anyone.
That's it.
Like, and that's actually part of the problem. Like, you're posting things as if like you've gone on a TV show and you're posting your life afterwards, and you've got all these brand deals. You're now showing all these normal people that are in uni or are working a 9 to 5 that we need our lives together like yours, but we're not going on some TV show to give us like 2 million followers to make it, so it doesn't work. And then again, there's more pressure. Oh, I need to have myself. They're only 19 and they've just done this and they're achieving all these things. And they're like, no, like you all work on your own timing. Like,
and actually, because I just caught the last 15 minutes of Towie yesterday, and my mum's like, God, this is so dry, and I was like, oh no, it's so boring, and it's just so whitewashed. Like I'm just longing for. I'll be in it. I don't mind. I'll be in a reality program. Like, literally,
take me up to
like I don't mind. Like honestly,
have you seen the Housewives of Cheshire?
They've got a black woman. Yeah, I'm gonna watch that tonight.
Single
Even the way
you posted it,
they have a black woman.
Single black.
Yeah, because it made it in Cheshire. That acting like black people aren't rich. Are you mad? There's loads of rich black people. So why was it all white and then one little Asian woman? Like, come on.
No,
they need to diversify things.
They do.
Because we exist and we are here. Get used to seeing black
you don't see us say, you know, I can't relate to these people.
No, I have to sit there and watch them.
Have I woke up? Have I woke up in the UK? What is this? Or have I woke up in America? What is this? But then they see a black cast, and all of a sudden, like,
we need
for an hour,
we need a reality program, like literally that represents us and things. But that is really interesting what you say about the fact that we've paved the way, because I'm really excited about my girls coming up. Because look, they've got Coco magazine. Have you seen Coco magazine? First black British children's magazine, and they've got one for boys, one for girls. Honestly, it's so good. I read it. It really educates you. Amazing that they've got them in Sainsbury's now. First they were just like mail order, but now they're in stores. So that lady has done amazing. So my daughter can sit there and look through the magazine, and it's just refreshing. You
find out why Cane Rose started. Like,
it's brilliant, and we need more of that. And then we've got so many authors. You Slay in Your Lane, the ladies Yemi, I can't remember the other one, and then you've got like Candice Braithwaite, Akala, Afua, all those
There's
books.
a little girl as well, Paynton. She's like 8 and an author, and she's got like 3 books for black children.
Like, literally,
incredible.
I'm so excited of the future for black British people, but black people, you know what I mean? It's coming.
Absolutely.
It's coming. So, around 40% of people in England who have overlapping problems, including homelessness, substance misuse, and contact with the criminal justice system in any given year, also have mental health problems. This is sometimes called facing multiple disadvantages. What do you think of that?
Wait, repeat that.
So basically, 40% out of the whole population have overlapping problems. So basically, these people suffer from mental health problems as well. So it's usually homelessness, substance abuse, misuse, and contact with the criminal justice, so in and out of prison, also have mental health problems. This is classified as multiple disadvantages. So these people also suffer from mental health. So, and that's quite a big stat, 40%.
I'm actually surprised it's not higher.
Really?
because it would make absolute sense if you have overlapping issues that you would have mental. Because how can you be homeless, jobless, and all these things and not be depressed or anxious or worried about it,
or have some kind of mental health?
Like you have no form of stability. So I don't get how anyone could feel calm or feel normal in that situation. So I'm actually surprised that statistics only 40.
It's
because if someone's taking substance abuse, they're not in a good, because they don't feel like they feel like drugs is like that's what they're worth.
And there's nothing else, is there? As well?
And then that becomes their habit and their main like thing that they need.
Where do you think the LGBT, like, I feel like everything is on a journey. Where do you think it's going? Like, do you think it's going in the right direction? Or how do you think people should... It's not for you to educate people, but, like, for people interested... Because, like, I was just, like, listening to Mira. Like, Mira's, like, one of my best friends. And I didn't realise... Not saying that her situation is bad, but I didn't realise it was this deep.
Yeah.
What's your advice to anybody? Like, how would you... you know...
As in, like, deal with homophobia?
Because there are still a lot of ignorant people out there, and
I think, and my partner's taught me this. I believe you'll speak to them soon, and you should. So my partner identifies as non-binary, and they will be misgendered as female all the time, even though biologically, to other people, I guess you'd see them as female. But how they feel, that's so incorrect. Like, you've misgendered them, and that's actually an offence. Like, it's offensive. It's literally like, I would literally say it's as deep as going up to a black person, calling them an N-word. Like, it really is. Like, you wouldn't do that. Well, some. But, like, if you had common sense, like, you wouldn't do that because you know it's offensive. But the ignorance of people being that they feel like they have the right to be to say these things and you're gay or you're straight, like, so what, like, so what is your issue here? Like, who I like why is it a concern to you?
It makes me feel sad that I could possibly offend somebody in that way as well.
I think
if I could offend somebody in that way without learning this, it's all about educating.
Important as, like, for me, like, now I'm going to be really conscious of this. If I meet somebody, I will say, what would you like to be known as?
So you ask their pronouns.
Absolutely.
That is going to be, if anytime I meet someone new. The
best and most inclusive thing to say would literally be like, hi, my name is whatever your name is, my pronouns are she, her, what are yours?
That's it.
Like, oh, hi, my name is so-and-so, my pronouns are they, them. Cool. There's no issue. It's not weird. And it gets rid of any stigma. From the get-go, you've just met the person. They've told you.
That's why I hate it when people say, oh, I identify as a penguin. You're taking the absolute mick. Like what? Like, you literally drawing attention away from the seriousness of people, like your partner. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I identify as a penguin. Okay, then.
Like, great. Are you sick?
Yes. Do you know what?
I don't see it. Like,
it's not funny.
You think you're funny?
Yeah, it's so ridiculous.
That's disgusting, though. Anybody that says that, fuck them. I hate to say that I've just sworn, but that's how I feel about that.
We apologise for any swearing.
I just think that's just rude.
It's rude, isn't it? But it
so
takes away the
rude.
serious element of, like, you know what I mean? I just can't. My nail just flew off. But anyway, it takes away. I hate that so much, and it's so ignorant. Like, it's not a joke. Like, these are people's lives and emotions you're messing with. So why would you say?
I'm sorry, but why is yours more valid than theirs?
Yeah, exactly.
Because you're straight, or you're a straight man, you're a straight white woman, or
that doesn't make no
girl,
sense.
like, absolutely not. You are no better.
So
we are the same. We bleed the same.
So I was looking at some LGBT and I found some names on the Stonewall website. So Monroe. Does anybody follow Monroe?
Yes, I've met
They
Monroe.
are amazing.
Incredible. I've heard them
They.
speak live.
Oh, really?
Yes, like a brunch set.
So
Incredible. Very
beautiful.
stunning.
Oh my god, yeah.
Stunning.
I don't know who it is, so I will look at
Yeah,
them up.
Stacey Anchin, Jamaican poet and activist.
Yep.
Angela Davis, an activist. Justin Fashanu, British footballer. Marsha P. Johnson, American gay liberation activist and self-identified drag queen. David Ketu, Ugandan teacher and LGBT activist. Jackie Kay, British playwright and novelist. Alice Walker, American writer, author of The Colour Purple. Gina Yashia, British comedian. So you can, I'll put those names up on our Instagram. And just because we said that we were going to talk about somebody, especially from the Black community. We were going to do it just for Black History Month, but we're going to do somebody every week, aren't we?
Yeah.
Because there's so many, and it's all about education. So, Black Person of the Week. That sounds really. I don't like that. We have to come up with another phrase. I like that. But anyway, Josephine Baker was born Josephine MacDonald, and she was born in France, 3rd of June 1906, and she starred in major films. But but mostly in she's American, born in America, French entertainer. They really adopted her, and she was the first Black woman to star in a major motion picture in 1927, silent film Siren of the Tropics, directed by Mario Naples. She was known for aiding the French Renaissance during the World War. After the war, she was awarded a Croix de Guerre by French military, was named Chevalier, some French word. I'm just rushing through this because I'm curious of time. Baker refused to perform for segregated audiences in the United States and is noted for contributions to civil rights movement. Josephine Baker was bisexual. I was just like, I've known about this lady because I read her, but they did, not that it matters, but I'm like, wow, back then, that not necessarily, people would have kept that quiet.
Yeah.
But she was quite confident and open about it. Her first marriage was to an American Pullman porter. And when she was only 13 years old. The marriage was unhappy, then she divorced, and then she married again. Baker was back on stage in Olympia in 1968. And she did many things, and then she unfortunately died at the age of 68 on the 12th of April 1975. And it's just incredible to know that Josephine Baker, she was a big part of the entertainment industry, but often forgotten about. But when she went from America to French, the French sort of took her on as their own. And apparently you can go and see, there's a museum over there where it's got all her films and stuff like that. So I will put up a link to her as well, because she was really stunning. And yeah, she was a member of the LGBT community back then. So as we're coming to an end, I really want to say thank you so much, Isabella, for coming in and chatting to us, especially as it's last minute. And it's been so good, and you've taught me, and I'm sure Sian, so much. And we'd love to have you on again in the future.
I'd love to come again.
And,
yes, it's been a pleasure talking to you.
I'd like to, obviously me and Bella are friends, so I think that she'll probably be a little regular in and out.
Pop
any
in.
issues
And
so
we
on.
will obviously in the future be speaking to
many.
Bella's partner.
Yeah, we'd like to
And
know
we're really
your
interested in
partner
that.
on, yeah.
So yeah,
but
thank
anybody
you.
who wants to
Feedback.
come on,
Yeah, please message our Instagram, let us know.
Yeah.
We've got a few people that will be coming in.
Yeah, and
but any feedback or
what's
questions?
That handle? I always forget. Sister _ is it?
Sister_P Town.
Yeah.
So please get in touch, and any feedback or questions, please give us a message.
Yeah. Thank you for listening.
Thanks,
and we'll
guys.
See you. Oh, somebody still hasn't done a jingle for us.
Oh yeah.
We're just gonna have to sing one
We'll
ourselves.
find one.
Yeah.
We'll find one.
Right.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Bye. Thank you.
There we go.